Hello dear students, today we will continue our unit 4, which is secretary and director. In the last lectures we have gone through about every detail regarding to secretary, like definition of secretary, what is importance of secretary, okay, what are his rights, okay, in what case he can be disqualified or he can be removed from the company, or what are the liabilities on him, what duties, what kind of work he is performing, everything we have gone through with. Likewise, in today's lecture we will see everything regarding director. Okay, director and secretary, these two persons are a part of key managerial personnel. Okay, KMP, and this is a new term which is introduced in Companies Act 2013. Which term? KMP, key managerial personnel. Now we will see how every management or how every organization's management is working. First of all, hierarchy of company management. First, there is shareholders, then board of directors and managing directors or CEO. Generally, this is the criteria, or in such a way every management works. But here there are certain personnels, and that is why it is called key managerial personnel, not a single person, but in that certain individuals are included. They are known as CEO, that is chief executive officers, CFO, chief financial officer, COO, chief operating officer, CLO, chief law officer, CTO, chief technology officer, CMO, chief marketing officer, and CS, secretary. Correct? Now here we need to look in detail as per our syllabus, that is regarding to director or a managing director or a company secretary. So we have to deal with only director and secretary. But just for your information, these are the terms which are included in Companies Act 2013 under the head KMP. Now these are CEO, CFO, COO, CLO, CTO and CMO. But mainly we will see details about now regarding to director. Its top level management comprises of the board of directors, which is a group of directors. Correct? Now, what is the meaning of director as per legal means? In legal way, what is the meaning of director? Director means a person, or a director means a director appointed to the board of the company. A single individual who is working on behalf of the company, but he is the key person. The business management is managed by the director or a managing director. Correct? Now, in routine word, or in simply speaking, the word director means a person appointed to manage, to direct, supervise the affairs of the company. The person who is appointed, or the person who is responsible for managing the whole affairs of the company, he is taking certain decisions, he is responsible for each and every, from A to Z he has to look after. It means what? He is engaged and involved right from the A work up to the Z work of the company. Means he is mainly responsible for the company affairs. How the company is managed literally depends upon the manager and management, and manager is a part of the management. Now, being a managing director or only a director, what he needs to do? A director has to manage, he has to direct, at the same time he has to supervise the affairs of the company. It means what? He is a supervisor, he has the rights, he has certain powers which a board of directors has given to him to run the company. That is what is a real meaning of director. Now, provisions and rules with respect to the appointment of a director under section 149 of the Act states that only an individual can be appointed as a director. First of all, there is a condition that a single individual, a human being, a simple person who can be an employee. First of all, he is employee. Okay, then he is appointed as a director. It means a body, corporate, association or a firm cannot be a director of a company. A body, as we have seen in the features of the company. Okay, what is that? It is a separate legal entity. Means what? Right from the, means the persons working, the members, directors or employees are different from the company. Company itself has got its own existence, that is legal existence. So director is not a body corporate, is not a association, is not a firm, but director is an individual who is appointed as a director. The director means it is the post of the name. Okay, the person who is working in any organization is called as a director. It means what? First he is an individual, first he is a human being, and then because he is having certain experience, because he is eligible for that certain post, so he is called a director. Correct? So now provisions and rules with reference to the with respect to the appointment of director. Okay, that we have seen. Now minimum number of directors. In what case? Means in case of public company, how many directors should be there, and in case of private company, how many directors needs to be appointed by the company, and in case of OPC, that is one person company. So minimum number of directors, here we are talking about the minimum number of directors. In case of public company, there are 3 directors. In case of private company, there should be 2 directors, and obviously one person company, it is a self-explanatory term. So there is only one member or one person can be appointed as a director. Now maximum number of directors, up to 15 directors are allowed to be appointed. If a company requires more than 15, it should pass a special resolution, and this is all about a public company. If the company is big, if the affairs of the company, if the business activities of the companies are spread throughout the nation, throughout the maybe at international level, means throughout the world, in that case maximum number of directors should be 15. And if company requires more than 15 directors, then as per the Companies Act 2013, they require, means the company requires to pass a special resolution for acting number of directors if they need more than 15 directors. Correct? Then prescribed classes of companies shall have at least one woman director. Which company? Prescribed classes. We have seen in types of companies or in types of individuals or employees who are appointed for the sake of companies. In that prescribed class means it is a special class of companies. Okay, in that case they must have or they should have at least one woman director. So there must be at least one director who stayed in India for at least 182 days during the financial year. Every financial year starts with March, ends with April. Now within these 12 months, in this duration 182 days he must stay in India because he is working for the country India. So in that case he must be there, means he should be a resident for at least 182 days continuously in that financial year in India. Then only he can become a director of any Indian company. Simply it means. Correct? Now every listed public company should have 1/3 of its board as an independent director. Correct? Every listed company, every listed public company should have 1/3 of its board as independent director. Okay. For example, there are 20 members now in board of directors. So out of this 20, 1/3 will be calculated, and accordingly the directors will be appointed. So it is as per the rules and regulations of the company. A person is allowed to hold directorship of maximum 20 companies at the same time. Means a person, he can work at a time for 20 companies as a director. The Act also states, but again there are some rules and regulations. The Act also states that maximum number of public companies in which a person can be a director is only 10. Means if he wants to be a director of private company, then the limit is 20. But if a person, an individual want to be a director of public company, then the number is only 10. Correct? Now we will talk about the qualification of director. What qualification he or she should have? First, the Companies Act has not prescribed any academic or professional qualifications for director. But still, the Act does not impose any share qualification on them. So unless the articles of company contains a provision, a director does not have to be a shareholder of the company unless willingly he wishes to be one. Okay, see what our act says, or what our Companies Act 2013 rules and regulations says, that he should not have any academic or professional qualification. It means it is not necessary or compulsory that he should be an engineer. Okay, he should be certain degree holder, like MCom, or like say BCCA, or any degree. He should not have professional qualification. There is no compulsion that he should be a professionally qualified person. Okay, at the same time, it is not imposed, means it is not compulsory that he should be a shareholder of the company in which he is supposed to be appointed as a director. Correct, there is no compulsion. So unless the articles, but if, as we know that every company has two main documents, that is memorandum of association and articles of association. So if the company's articles of association says that we need certain person, qualified person, certain degree holder person as a director, then in that case only that person will be appointed as a director who have certain degrees, or who should be a shareholder of the company. Correct, unless willingly wishes to be one. Still there is no compulsion that he should buy certain amount of shares of that specific company in which he is working, or in which he is working as a director. No compulsion. So in case of qualification, nothing is mentioned in Companies Act. Now we will see the types of directors. First director and rotational directors. Correct. First director means they are appointed by the promoters of the company at the time of incorporation. So promoters are also known as first directors. Correct. This might be expected question in MCQs. Okay. Who is the first director? Promoters are the first directors. They remain in office till the first annual general meeting of the company is held. But again, it is not necessary that they should continue themselves as a first director. Correct? They may leave the company, they may join another company. Again, if something is mentioned as per the Companies Act 2015 in their articles of association. So they are appointed by the promoters of the company at the time of incorporation of the company. They remain in office till the first annual general meeting of the company is held. Now second is rotational director. This indicates those directors who are liable for retirement by term or rotation. Every company can keep the persons on rotation for the post of directors. Okay, for say duration of 3 years, Mr. Sanjay will work as a director. Again, because it is mentioned in their rule book, or it is mentioned in their articles and memorandum of association, and accordingly what they will do, they will rotate the persons, they will rotate the individuals to act as a directors. So they are eligible for reappointment, or now they are eligible for reappointment. Now retirement by rotation. What is retirement by rotation? Directors of public company and private company which is subsidiary of public company have to retire by rotation in every annual general meeting. Okay, we have seen what is company meeting. In that we have seen annual general meeting, a general meeting which is held once in a year, that is annual general meeting. So directors of public company or a private company which is subsidiary of public company have to retire by rotation in every annual general meeting. It is decided on the basis of time spent by the director on the board. Correct. So under section 152 subsection 6, two-thirds of the board is subject to retirement by the rotation. Again, one-third what we have seen here, okay, that they should appoint at least one-third of the board of directors. If there is a 20 board of directors persons in the board of directors, one-third will be appointed. But in case of retirement, okay, the two-third of the board is subject to retirement by rotation. This is only a case of rotational directors or retirement by rotation. One-third of the above will retire at every annual general meeting. So by default they will retire. How many? One-third of the total number of board of directors person included in the company on a board. Correct? For example, if a company with 3 directors on board, at least 2 directors must be rotational directors and 1 director thereof will retire at every general meeting. Correct? So, types of directors. Now, what are the different types? Additional director or alternate director, woman director, nominee director, executive director, non-executive director, independent director, small shareholder director. Now we will see every type of director in detail. Now additional powers and rights of additional directors are on par with other directors. Means he is getting certain advantages as working as a director. Additional director is appointed by the board as authorized by articles as and when needed. Additional director holds office till the next AGM, that is annual general meeting. Correct? Alternate director. It means a director who is nominated by the board to act in a place of a director in his absence. Alternate means if the person is going on a leave for 1 month, then it is not that company will suffer for 1 hour, but they may appoint a alternate director on his or her place. But again, the appointment cannot be less than 3 months. Okay, less than 3 months. Now, woman director. The following class of companies required to appoint at least one woman director on their boards. Every listed company. So this is special class company. Which company? Listed company. And listed company means what? That company, that public company who is listing their shares in stock exchange and they are selling their shares to the shareholders. But before that they have to list, they have to enroll themselves in stock exchange. Okay, so every listed company, and secondly every public company which has paid up share capital of 100 crores or more. Okay, every public company and such companies which paid up share capital is 100 crores or more than 100 crores, and secondly turnover of 300 crores or more than 300 crores. Correct? Such companies must appoint a at least one woman director. Now, nominee director, the person is nominated on the board by a major oblique dominant shareholder like a financial institution to represent and safeguard its interest. Nominee director. Executive director, this category can also be called full-time director. They are in full-time employment with the company. They play a big role in day-to-day management of the company. For all practical purposes, they are given managerial responsibilities and suitable titles like marketing director, finance director, etc. Okay, in multinational companies or in corporate world, corporate business, there are certain departments and they are such big departments that there is a requirement of special director for that particular division, for that particular department. So if it is marketing division, if it is marketing department, then for that department there will be a special director or those directors are called executive directors. Now non-executive. This category is not involved in day-to-day management of the company and therefore hold no executive managerial positions. In fact, non-executive director is labeled as outside director. So there may be a question in MCQ. Non-executive directors are also known as outside directors. The idea behind this appointment is to get independent ideas, perspectives, second opinions and alternate voice to the board. They are equally important, but they are not actively participating in daily and day-to-day company affairs. So they are non-executive directors. Independent directors under section 149, any director other than a managing director, full-time director or a nominee director is independent director as per section 149. Okay, any director other than means there should not be a managing director or full-time director or a nominee director is known as independent director. Then who can be independent director? Independent director holds office for a term up to 5 consecutive years and is eligible for reappointment. A individual appointed as a director and he is continuing his services till the completion of 5 years, that is 5 consecutive years, and is eligible for reappointment. Only this kind of director or this individual is eligible for reappointment as a director in a company, correct? But managing director cannot be independent director, whole-time director or a nominee director cannot work as a independent director, correct? So secondly, who can be independent director? Independent director cannot hold office for more than 2 consecutive terms. Means again, consecutive terms 5 plus 5. If he is completing 2 terms of 5 years, then again he cannot be reappointed. Correct? So this is what is independent director. Then small shareholder director. Under section 151, the Act has provided to elect one director by small shareholders of listed company. This is not a mandatory appointment. This is not compulsory. This is not mandatory. So this is what is small shareholders director. Okay, we will stop here and again we will continue our second lecture regarding powers, rights, duties of directors. Thank you.